Number 11, I'd like you to sketch this triangle. Show the scaled measures. This is what we're doing literally in class this week. Scale factor is 2.5, which means all of these numbers are going to be multiplied because our factor means we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply them by 2.5. So multiply this number, and this number by 2.5 because this is just a smaller version of our actual triangle. We didn't have enough room on our paper, so we drew a scaled drawing instead. This is like a blueprint for a house, or like if you've ever seen a fire exit plan in your classroom. It's not an actual size drawing of our class, of our school. It's a scale drawing. It's a smaller version of it. So this is a smaller version of our triangle, and the real one is 2.5 times larger. So you got to multiply. Multiply 2.5 by that, and by that. You give me a new triangle with new numbers. Don't forget to label inches. For number 12, we need to use a proportion. So a proportion is where we have two fractions that are equal to each other. If we're doing percents, well, that's one of our proportion, or one of our fractions. So it's 25 out of 100. That's 25%. This one's done. So we want to know 28 is part of what larger amount? This is a small piece of what number? So 28 is 25% of what number? So it's going to be a larger number because think about this. We'll have 28, 28, 28, 28. This is 25% is one little section of the circle. So it's really going to be 28 times 4. But let's solve this with a proportion. So we're going to cross multiply. So it's 25 times x equals 28 times 100, 2800, divide 25, divide 25, and I bet you get the same thing. That is 28 times 4. There's your answer. 13, solve and show our work. You will use 2 1/3 feet of string to make one bracelet. How many can you make with 10 1/2 feet of string? Well, here's 2 1/3. There's one. If I add another one, that'll put me at 4 2/3. There's 2. If I add another one, it's going to put me at 6 3/3, which is equal to 7. If I have a fourth one, well, that's going to put me at 9 1/3. Go ahead and add another one. See if we can get another one before we hit 10 1/2. Okay. Know that this 2/3 is more than a half and 1/3 is less than a half. Number 14, is this proportional? We have a train that's traveling 252 miles in 2.8 hours, and it also travels 180 miles in 2 hours. Well, let's find its speed. Let's find its unit rate. It's miles per hour. So if it goes 252 miles in 2.8 hours, what does it go in 1 hour? So that's going to be, we divide from here to here, divided by 2.8, or just, you remember with unit rates, you can divide the top divided by bottom. It'll give you the unit rate per hour. We need to do the same thing for this one. Do you get the same miles per hour? Next one, we have a volume of a rectangular prism, and it gave it to us in fractions. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll just turn these into decimals. Here, this one's 0.666666. Just type a few of them, maybe 5 or 6 of them. That's what 2 divided by 3 is. And 1 1/2 is 1.5. So volume is base times height, as we discovered last week. The base here is a square. It's not a square. It's a rectangle. So is 1.5 times 0.666666 times its capital H is 4. So it's 3 measurements for volume. You need to multiply them together. Don't forget inches cubed. So that'll be multiplied. Give me a rounded answer. Just don't give me like an infinite decimal, but round it, make it look nice. And inches cubed is our label.